Hi friends, it's Sarah from rufflesandrainboots.com, and today I'm going to share 4 easy drop cloth or linen Easter DIYs. These are all of them. They're super cute. Look at those. And if you'd like to make them with me, just stick around. As always, please like this video so I know you're here crafting. It helps me with the algorithm and it makes me feel, pretty cool. All right, so we're going to be using scissors, some greenery. As you can imagine, we are making the carrots first. It doesn't matter what fabric you use. I'm going to be using drop cloth. You can use anything for the tops of the carrots as well. Raffia, boxwood, pipe cleaners rolled up. These linen cottons or the straight linens, will all work as well. And then for these, I'm just going to use drop cloth because they are going to go in a dough bowl. Mine are really a little bit wrinkled. I cut an 8x8 and a 6x6. I spritzed them with water and hit them with high heat. And yep, that's a Cricut Easy Press that I'm using as an iron. All right, so to get started, all we're going to do is just fold these in half. So this is the larger one, the 8x8, and all you're going to do is just create a triangle with sort of like a really flat point, and that's just going to help us glue it all together, and we can cut off any excess later, but it gives us a nice big thick place to align that bottom. So when you open it up, it looks like a just lopped off triangle. So now we're going to do that for the 6x6. Again, the same exact thing, 1/4 inch down there and just all the way right up to the top. So now, as you can imagine, we're going to get our trusty hot glue gun. This is a detailed tip Sure Bonder glue gun with Sure Bonder glue sticks. When you're working with fabrics like this heavy working fabric or canvas, you definitely want to make sure that you have a good solid glue stick. If you are going to sew these, which you can do, you're going to need to use a canvas or jeans needle. So 116 or 118, somewhere along those lines. I detail all of this in the blog post that accompanies this tutorial. So I'm going to cut off the very tippy point just to make sure I have no holes after I do that, because we are going to stuff these and we don't want the polyfill to come out. So I'm just going to flip those right side out and then use the blunt edge of the scissors or pencil to poke out the very tippy points. There we go. All right, so now it looks lived in. I love it when you turn it right side out because it's not wrinkled, but it's nice and soft. Love drop cloth. All right, so here I'm just going to roll down the top like maybe 1/2 inch. It's not a lot and you can do whatever you would like. I'm going to finger press it. You don't have to use your iron to press it in place. It's drop cloth, so it will work. If you just kind of press it with your fingers, it will stay in place. Now I am going to be gathering mine. You can absolutely just glue these. I like the little scrunch it gives. And it also depends where you put this running stitch on what the top of your carrot looks like. So if you put it where I am, which is just below that fold, you're going to have a nice little scrunch where the greenery is going to have a gathered look on the drop cloth, okay? So we're just doing a running stitch in, out, and then we'll be able to cinch it tight. If you do your running stitch along that top seam, it will actually close up flat. So like where the fold over is, it will close up flat. So there's a couple of different ways you can do this, and you can experiment because it's just drop cloth. So I'm just going to show you pulling them tight. We're going to do this for the second one as well, the larger one. Again, flip it right side out, poke out the point, and then turn down that top before you add your running stitch. As you can imagine, we're going to stuff these. This is polyfill from the craft store, but you can go to any big box store and get a one of like the bed pillows and just pull that stuffing out. You can recycle your children's stuffy collection, if they have too many, like my daughter. We have an entire bookcase of stuffed animals and it's overflowing and they're never put away. All right, so once you get it to your desired height, just roll it all between your hands, distribute this polyfill, make sure it's all nice and even, and then we can move on. For my greenery, I'm using boxwood sprigs that I got at the Target dollar stop about forever ago. You can use pipe cleaners. You saw them in the beginning. You can use ferns from the Dollar Tree. You can use that raffia, whatever you would like. Just add glue, put them in, pull it tight, and then double or triple knot this, tie here. You can add a little dollop of hot glue if you are paranoid, like me. I always add a little bit of hot glue to my knots before I cut off the excess string. All right, so you're just going to repeat that for the second one and make however many you want. They're super cute. They're great for dough bowls or just sticking into a tiered tray to add a little depth and dimension. Are you ready for the next one? I am going to be making a shelf sitter sign. It is ridiculously easy. This is a small square I picked up from the Target dollar spot. You can use any Dollar Tree wood blank you can find. I'm using Waverly chalk paint in Elephant, and I'm going to create the look of distressed wood. Nope, it's not wood, but it looks good. Okay. All right, so I want to tell you what I'm matching. For this one, I made a farmhouse style gnome using drop cloth the other day, and I want to match that sort of badge we put on it. So I'm using these, paper scrapbooking, crafting brads. They're flowers, but we're going to pretend that they're stars. Isn't that nice? You can tell me in the comments whether you think this looks okay, that they look like stars, or you think, no girl, these are flowers. So I just cut off a strip of this 2-inch burlap ribbon. I frayed the edges and then used that to cut a small piece of faux leather wide ribbon. That's a mouthful, from Hobby Lobby. It comes on 6-inch spools and it is in the ribbon section, but you can use any faux leather. I did a little practice thing here with pencil, and then I used a white gel pen. I will put the link to mine. I have been lettering for many, many years, and these are by far my favorite white gel pen. They are not all created equal. Don't try to do this with a paint pen. It will go everywhere. I created a tiny 4-loop, like mini farmhouse style bow. Set that aside as I punched 4 holes in each of the corners of the leather so that I could put these little paper brads in there. They're not going to punch through the leather. Ask me how I know. I don't even know where that brad went. It launched itself. All right, so I just glued the leather to the burlap and then glued that entire thing to the wood block. I don't even think this took 10 minutes. I know it didn't take 10 minutes. It took it less than 10 minutes. Just glue on the bow and this one is all done. I really like it because that stripe adds a lot of interest and it really makes the letters pop against that faux leather. All right, so everybody's favorite Dollar Tree sign with the wooden beads, like how many of these did you buy and have in your stash? I refuse to admit it. But anyway, I'm not going to use the front. I'm actually going to use the back just because that way I have to do less work. So I'm going to pop that out of the frame and then I'm just going to pull out these beads. Save those because you can use them for another craft because they are coveted in the farmhouse style. I love making different farmhouse prayer beads. Okay, so all I'm going to do is just cut this out right on the outside of my MDF backing here from this frame. I'm going to fold in all the edges, cut the corners, and make it lay as flat as I can. Drop cloth is a pretty thick fabric, but it will fit very snugly into this. Just make sure you don't have any excess in those corners. Just hack it off after you glue it down. All right. Now you can see, you can fit it in there and it all pops right back in. And I'm going to put down the little brads and everything so I don't have to like glue it in. You can glue it in if you want as well, but I put down the brads. So I'm just ripping off some greenery I got here. I don't know where I got these. Daiso Japan, Hobby Lobby, don't know. And I'm making about a 3.5 and a 5-inch, I think the other one is 5-inch triangle. So we're basically going to make this one the same way. This one is going to be on the bottom. It's going to be our smaller one. So we're just going to make it the same way we did our larger one, just not flip it right sides out, right? So we're going to have this nice big shelf at the bottom that our other one will sit on top of. All right, so you can see it over here. It's just going to lay flat like that. I'm going to cut off a little bit of that excess just because I still have it glued. Like, don't worry. All glued up because we're going to stuff these in just a second as well. So I made this smaller one and that'll be what the larger one sits on here. So on this one, I'm going to roll this around my finger or the, scissors, a pencil, whatever you have. And we're just going to make it look a little nicer because this one's going to be on top and we're not going to be able to hide the join. So as you can imagine, a little hot glue, little roll, and now you have a nice faux sewn carrot. Watch your fingers right there and all the way up to the top if you want. We are not going to gather these. You absolutely can, but that's too small for me, so I just glued it. I took burnt sienna, which is it's very brown, but if you water it down, it becomes a beautiful sort of rustic aged orange. And I just used that watercolor directly onto the drop cloth, hit it with my heat gun, made it dry, and then stuffed it. I made one a little darker with, I think that one was 2 coats and the first one was just 1. Stuff it up with a polyfill, get it all down there. And I tucked in the very top, and then lazy girl style, I just tucked in the greenery into that. So I am going to glue it down after I get it on, but I first wanted to get this one down. You can see here I'm putting that nice flat edge down, and then I'll be able to put this one, glue all these greens in here, and then put this one all the way away from where I originally put it because I didn't have enough Scrabble letters to what I wanted to do is spell out patch. But let me know what you think. I think it looks cute, but as soon as I get the Scrabble letters, I'm going to add that right onto the big blank side. The last craft I have to share with you is 3 styles of bunny patterns I have for you down below in the link. And all we're going to do is, do whatever style you want. You can do 2 or 3 like I did, and you're going to trace them onto linen or drop cloth or any other fabric. You may have to flip one depending on the pattern of your fabric, but all you're going to do is start at the very bottom and go in very small sections. You're just going to do, especially on something bulbous like this guy, you're just going to do this bottom section, add some weight. These are large white rocks. You can use poly pellets, you can use aquarium gravel, and then you're just going to stuff that one section. And then you're going to use your glue gun and then do it along the edges as well in just the next section, like just this little piece right here, little body, or no, the little head after the body is done. Move to the head, but don't do the ears. So I found that if you do it all at once, number 1, you don't get stuffing everywhere you need it. And number 2, it's really hard actually to not pop the hot glue seams. So do it in sections and it works out so easily. It really does help to have a detail tip glue gun on this one. But you don't have to add any more weight. You just have that weight at the bottom. Now, even if you're using these in a dough bowl or you're using these as like a tiered tray leaner, so put it against the middle part of the tier tray or a sign or something, still add some weight. And I say that because if you don't have the weight, just like tier tray pillows, they'll fall over, they'll fall flat. So just be sure to add just a tiny little bit of weight, whatever you choose will work. Just make sure it's non-odor and non-moisture absorbing. So I'm going to finish out the little ears here, just press this all flat, and then I just tied a little twine bow around this guy and made a tiny little farmhouse bow for the other guy, and they're done. Look at them. You can see one of them is standing with rocks and one of them is a leaner and it has no rocks in it. So which one of these crafts, be honest, which one's your favorite? Let me know down in the comments section below. Will you make any of these? I had a lot of fun making them. I hope you had fun watching. Please like, share, and subscribe for more crafty fun.